Hey, it's NFL 2020. Let's let the rest of the world talk about XFL and pretend that they matter. Look, I like XFL. I actually went to the first XFL, the first game of the first XFL. It's pretty cool stuff. Don't get me wrong. I like the progression. I like the creativity. But this is an NFL channel, so let's talk about NFL. And I took one of my helmets down. Can you pick it out? Can you pick it out? Which one did I pick out? I picked out the New Orleans Saints to talk about today. Drew Brees is back, thank goodness, for a couple reasons. One, because as an NFL fan, not a Saints fan, mind you, I just like, I like watching the NFL. I want to see him continue his legacy. A second reason, I like the Saints. The Saints are a good team. They're a team that frankly deserved to be in the Super Bowl one of these last few seasons. Now, they didn't do it on the field, although you can make the argument that against the Rams they did it on the field, but it is what it is. They didn't make the Super Bowl. I want to see him take this team and keep that Super Bowl window open. Now, let me read you some stats here. And of course, he missed those 5 games while Teddy Bridgewater went, I think, undefeated when in his starts there this season. But let's see here. So Drew Brees, 2,979 yards, 74.3. That's the number to key in on here. 74.3% passing completion percentage. Unbelievable. His touchdown to interception ratio, he was 27 touchdowns to 4 interceptions. Now, when you see that from Aaron Rodgers, you go crazy. He doesn't throw interceptions. Neither does Drew Brees, right? Drew Brees is incredible. Last year, 15 games, 74.4% completion percentage, 72% the year before that, 70 the year before that, 68, 69, 68. I'm looking back. His lowest career completion percentage is way back in San Diego, 57.6. Ever since he's been in New England, he hasn't dipped below 64%. Oh, I take that back. He was 1 year in 2012, he was 63%. He's phenomenal. He's an all-timer. And I think with him coming back, what this means for the Saints is, they were kind of jostling with me between them and the 49ers for the number 1 team in the NFC for most of that season. And this year, I'll say that my San Francisco, I think, is still, the most talented team, the best team, but they're going to be dealing with the Super Bowl hangover. That doesn't help. Luckily for San Francisco, their coaching staff wasn't poached, so that's good for them. But I think New Orleans is going to be the number 1 seed in the NFC next year. Remember, San Francisco, they have to contend with, I think, a Rams team that will be improved. The Seattle Seahawks will continue to improve. That's a tough division. San Francisco, that Super Bowl hangover, statistically, it's real. Now, I think San Francisco is too good, and I think Kyle Shanahan is too good of a coach. I think that defense is too good of a defense for them not to make the playoffs again next year. But, you have to admit the Seattle Seahawks and the LA Rams can give the San Francisco 49ers trouble. I think that New Orleans has a clearer path. I think Atlanta will be improved. We don't know what we're going to get yet from Carolina with their new coaching staff. Tampa Bay is going to be improved as well. But I think, New Orleans there is definitely the class of the division, in my opinion. And when you have a quarterback throwing 74% completion percentage, and it's not like he's dinking and dunking. He's throwing the ball downfield. You got Michael Thomas. You got Kamara. I'd like to see the Saints, and we'll get to this as we get into our off-season previews and all this stuff. I'd like to see the Saints add another receiver. I think it's very possible, for example, that the Rams cut ties with Brandon Cooks. Well, Cooks was pretty good in New Orleans when he was there before, he went to New England and all that stuff. It would be interesting to me if they brought him back, but they can do better. I think there are going to be other receivers waived that aren't even on the market yet. I think that in the draft, it is a very heavy wide receiver draft, and we're seeing wide receivers come out of college and, really more ready to compete at an NFL level, more refined route running, smarter, more pro concepts. So I think if New Orleans can add some kind of counterpunch to Michael Thomas on the other side of the field, and I know that's what they've been searching for a while. And Who Dat Nation, I get it. You've come and you told me about different guys and injuries and all that stuff. I get it, but they need another receiver to really put them and ice that top seed. So right off the top of my head, I haven't gone game by game, season by season, but I'm thinking another 13-3 is very possible for New Orleans. The only question is, and I think this is a valid argument, with Drew Brees getting hurt and missing 5 games, that's nothing you want, right? But it helped to have Drew Brees basically fresh, much fresher than his 40-year-old body would have been going into the playoffs. Then again, they did lose that first game. So unfortunate for the Saints, but I do think they'll be back. Like I said, I think they'll be the 1 seed. I think they'll have a bye week next year in the NFL, or I should say this year, the 2020 season. We'll see how it shakes out. There's a lot of good coming in there. I still think that Minnesota is going to be the class of the North. coming into 2020. Philadelphia should be a little bit better if their entire receiving core doesn't get hurt. So I think Philadelphia is probably the class of the East. Then you got in the West, I think there's going to be a battle there, but I still think that San Francisco is the best team. But is that Super Bowl hangover? I've never been the biggest believer in it, but we saw what happened to the Rams this year, and how Sean McVay just basically completely destructed over the course of the season. I mean, he was a mess as a coach, in my opinion, last year. I think he'll get it back on track, but yikes. So I think Kyle Shanahan will get it done, though, like I said. And we'll see. I'm really excited to see what Drew Brees does. I think it's very likely that he throws for close to 4,000 yards. I think, if not a little bit over, I think it's very likely that he goes for a 6-to-1 touchdown to interception ratio. And, we can spare ourselves for another season is Taysom Hill a starting quarterback, or is he the next starting quarterback for the New Orleans Saints? Look, I don't know enough about the guy's arm, okay? But just because Lamar Jackson is running and throwing and doing his thing, just because he's had some success doesn't mean it's a one-to-one comparison. Remember Tim Tebow, and that's the guy that New Orleans originally wanted to fill that Taysom Hill role. Tim Tebow was a running quarterback as well. Didn't really work. Okay, yes, I know Taysom Hill is a better, arguably, I guess, but he is a better athlete, at least in terms of speed, right? I believe he had similar arm strength. I don't know if he has the arm talent in the NFL. I could be wrong on that. Like I said, I haven't dug into the film yet. But at least we don't have to listen to that, or I don't have to listen to that for an entire offseason. But Who Dat Nation, New Orleans Saints, please, you guys, please like and subscribe, right? But like the video, you have to like Drew Brees coming back. I have nothing bad to say about the guy. Once again, as an NFL fan, I'd love to see it. They're either my number 1 or number 2 team in the NFC to come out. I want to see how San Francisco responds to the Super Bowl loss, that tough loss there. I can't wait. Love Brees coming back. If this guy was having a down 2019 or something like that, I'd be a little bit more down, man. But he was close to 7-to-1 touchdown to pass ratio. The guy's insane. Oh, let me read you some all-time numbers too. I have these up here. All-time Drew Brees in terms of passer rating, right? I don't do the QBR stuff. It's the QBR stuff is BS. Let's be nice about that. BS. It's not bull. It's BS. QBR sucks. But passer rating though, number 1 all-time Aaron Rodgers, 102.4. Number 2 all-time Russell Wilson, who I think is underrated in most circles, 101.2. Number 3 all-time Drew Brees. Number 4 all-time Tony Romo. Yikes. At least the first 3 won Super Bowls. Let's see here. Career touchdown pass leader Drew Brees, even in 11 games, slungshot past Tom Brady this year. 547 career touchdowns. Number 1 all-time passing yardage leader. Number 1 Drew Brees by about 3,000 yards or close to it over Tom Brady. Those two guys are battling, I guess, in terms of legacy. Drew Brees, I think, is playing better, and he's a little younger. I hope we see at least 3 more years of Drew Brees based on what I saw this past year. Let's keep that Super Bowl window open, New Orleans Saints and New Orleans Saints fans. And once again, congratulations. Celebrate tonight, right? Celebrate responsibly, though, right? Once again, please like and subscribe. We'll be back with some more 2020 analysis and reaction videos, so check us out.